What is up guys, welcome back to SP Vids. In this video today I'm going to be explaining how to get your beats from the SP to your computer. Now this is a really important thing that you need to be doing, especially if you want to be distributing your music to places like Spotify and SoundCloud. You need to be able to get the music out of this onto your laptop so you can do your final preparations to get it onto those streaming platforms. So there's quite a few ways you can go about this. I'm going to explain as many as I know, and just want to say if you do know any yourself that I don't mention in this video, please leave a comment below and let the other people know. It's a good way for us to learn. And also it goes without saying that if you have any questions or comments about the stuff that I talk about in this video, just leave a comment below and I'll happily answer them for you. So the SP is not even going to get turned on for this one, but I'm just going to explain how the different types of exporting work. The first one I'm going to explain is the one that I tend to use the most, to be honest, and it's basically recording your beat out of the back of the SP whilst playing it live. Now, I'm not a big fan of the pattern sequencer. I have been working on it recently a little bit more to try and get more familiar with it, and I do want to spend more time getting better with it, but at the moment I'm just exporting my beats by playing them live and straight out into a recording device, which happens to be my H5 at the moment, which I explained about in a couple of videos ago. It's just a portable handheld recorder. So yeah, I'll have the samples in the pads and I'll have my drum sounds down here, and I'll just play the whole thing live with my fingers, and at the same time I'll be recording that. Occasionally I'll also put a drum loop onto one pad if I know there's not going to be any pauses in the beat. That pad will loop and I'll play the samples over the top of that, and yeah, the device will be recording for me. Then when I've got that recording, it goes to an SD card, which is a WAV file, and I put that WAV file into Ableton, bring up the volume if needs be, and do any sort of minor adjustments to the EQ. Maybe take out a little bit of the highs to make it get that slightly more lo-fi sound to it. But yeah, try and do minimal treatment as I can with the DAW, because I like to get the SP sound. So that's the first method, that's how I use. Just play your beat out live, record it into a recording device, and that's it basically. The second one, which involves being able to make full beats with Resample. If you need to know how to do that, please check out the video before this. I'll leave a link to it in the top right. It shows you how to make a full beat using the Resample method, and basically if you use this method, your beat will end up on one pad on your SP. Now the great thing about this is you can just take the SD card out of your SP, put it into your computer. Most laptops these days have a built-in SD card reader in the side, or you can just buy a dongle or something like that that reads SD cards like I've got. So you'll have one file, you use your computer to dig through the files on the SP and you'll find the one that relates to your pad. So if it was on A1, for example, the file name would be something along the lines of A00001. You'll find that in there, and that'll be the complete beat on that one pad, on that one file. So you can use that straight away, put it onto your computer. Again, if you want to put it through a DAW and do a bit of EQ on it, it's just the one WAV file that you've got, so you can just use that. So that's the second method. It's resample it down to one pad and just directly grab that off your SD card inside the box. So the third method involves you making your beats with pattern select or the pattern sequencer. If you make full beats with a pattern sequencer, it is actually really good for exporting your beats, because what you can do is make copies of patterns very quickly on the SP, and that's one of the great things about the pattern sequencer. If you want to make a slight change to the pattern that you want in your beat, you can just literally copy and paste it onto another pad. So what you can do with the pattern sequencer is have the full beat that you've made on one pad, and then you could copy that out and delete all the other pads apart from, let's say, your kick, and do that again with snare, hi-hat, and go through the song as many times as you need for as many pads that you've broken your beat down into. So you'll have to record it once out for every pad, and then you can just line them all up in your DAW. Any DAW you can use for that sort of thing, not just Ableton. That's just the one I use, so I mention it quite a lot. So obviously the pattern sequencer will loop around. You just export it by recording out what each one's doing, and then line them up in your DAW, and then you have full control over every volume in your mix, which is really beneficial obviously for getting the levels correct. So you'll be able to tweak the bass drum, you'll be able to tweak the snare, the hi-hat, and your samples all on different channels. So that's really beneficial if you want to spend that little bit of extra time mastering your beats. Now the final method that you can also use is if you make your full beat in a bank, for example, like I usually do, you could then take your SD card, export every single sound that you've got in there, put it into your DAW, and then do the full arrangement on the DAW. So the benefit of that is you get to mess around with the effects on the SP, but then you get the full benefit of DAW work workflow, so like Ableton, Logic, whatever you prefer to use, you can track out all those individual parts of your beat and lay them out however you want, and you've got full control over the beat. It's a lot less destructive and it's probably a lot easier as well. So I think that's kind of the workflow I want to work towards at some point, is where I'm getting the sweet effects out of the SP, because that's what it's basically renowned for, is these amazing effects that are built into it, but I'm getting the full power of a DAW to be able to put those beats together and get them really smooth. So you will find, once you get to know beat makers that you like, they will just use the SP for sample treatment, so they'll put in a sample, get an effect on it, and then put it straight back into the DAW and carry on arranging through there. So I think that's it for this one, guys. I think that's every way you can kind of export your beats from the SP, and also not so much as exporting, but ways that you can get the sounds out that you want and then rearrange as well in the DAW of your choice. So I hope this has been useful. I hope this is good information for you guys. I've had a few people ask this question recently. The main things you're going to need probably are either an SD card reader on your computer, or a way of recording phono into your laptop as well is really handy. I've got that with my audio interface, even though that seems to be falling apart at the moment. But those two things are pretty crucial if you want to be able to get your beats out of this and onto your computer. So that's it for today, guys. If you haven't already headed over to my new YouTube channel, I'd really appreciate it if you could do that. It's called Tape Geek, and it's just going to be lo-fi music by various artists, not just myself. I'm going to be contacting lo-fi artists and asking them if I can put their music on, and it's just going to be in video format basically. I've already been in touch with a few people that I'm really keen to get on the channel, and they are fully on board for it, so there's going to be new content going on there soon. I'll drop a link to it in the description. If you could subscribe to that, it'd be really handy. Also, don't forget about spvids.com. It's got lo-fi beat packs on there. If you need drum sounds for your lo-fi beats, there's some really good low-cost drum packs on there, which I use all the time for my beats. They're really solid, so go check them out if you can. It helps support the channel as well. Apart from that, guys, keep making beats. I hope you're all doing well, and I will be back very soon with more video content. Peace!